Shame to see, much real. Yours is make believe. Man, it's kind of offensive the way I'm cooking. Her nigga hurting, I'm shining, I'm real good looking. I don't need to talk about it, you can see the story. Man, he talking too much, he could be the story. I remember the day that they had us in cages. I thought it was outrageous. Now we get paid for jumping off stages. Look at me, mama, I made it. Like, we've been up for 3 days, counting money these ways, yeah. Is it a hobby? It's a lifestyle. And he telling me the time is right now. Well, it seems that I'm the one they like now. I control the switch. I just want ownership. Keep all of the fake friends.
A warm welcome, everybody, to FISSURE Universe Ep.4. You're watching the official English stream brought to you by FISSURE Studios. My name is Permasneeze, and I'm joined by 343. And yesterday, we were on elimination duty. We had to say goodbye to some of the teams already. It was heartbreaking, it was painful, but we bid adieu to MAT as well as One Move. And today, we're on elimination duty again. But hey, at least this time, we get to watch some Southeast Asian teams. Put the Southeast Asian boys on Southeast Asian teams. I'm not going to complain about that, Adam.
Ain't no complaining here. There'll be some SCA Dota, but Mike, are you not gonna answer a question?
What was the question?
Who's the best SCA support player in their role? It's on screen, Mike.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Who's the best SCA? I don't know if you've heard of this guy, but I think all-time greatest, probably this guy, he's not playing anymore, he's coaching, but his name is 343. Anyway, in more important matters, let's talk about this tournament, okay? So for those of you who are just joining us, we're basically almost at the end of the Swiss stage of this tournament. It's basically a modified group stage. We're starting to see this format a lot more these days. We start off with each of these seeded teams playing against each other, and then based on your score, you face off against, teams that have achieved a similar score. The idea is that your opponents are going to be a bit more evenly matched with you, right? So far, it has produced quite a lot of tight series. Yesterday, not so much the case. The only series going 2-1 was Tundra versus Liquid. Of course, as you can see at the round 4 column there, Spirit and Tundra are the first teams to qualify to the playoffs, so big congrats to them. Within today alone, we'll have 3 more teams qualified, and for us, coming the games on round 4, we will be checking on who is gonna unfortunately have to wave their FISSURE Universe Episode 4 playoff dreams goodbye, while who keeps the fight alive, right? At this point, we're watching some teams with 1 win and 2 losses, and it's crunch time. Like, you can't afford to make any mistakes from here on forward.
All of these teams needs 2 wins, 2 series wins to qualify for this.
Yeah.
That's a long jump.
It is a long jump, especially starting off not so hot. Now, speaking of starting off, though, we do have a full stack of matches for today. You're not going to have any shortage of amazing Dota. We'll see the schedule here for this stream. So far, we've had 4 games a day. Things are sort of tightening up now as we get to the end of the group stage. Boom Esports versus Wildcard will be the first match on our docket, followed by Aurora versus Talon. That is going to be a very fun one to watch, which I'm personally quite excited for. I think we saw this matchup over and over in Southeast Asia, but Aurora kind of switched gears a bit. So yeah, now they're Eastern European team, interested to see how they square up. And then on the other mainstream, rather, FISSURE_Dota_EN, also brought to you officially by FISSURE Studios. Gaimin Gladiators versus Paravision, that's happening on the other stream. But if you're a Southeast Asian Dota lover, which you probably are because you're up this early, you want to stick with us. Team Falcons versus Tidebound coming up after that, and then Liquid versus BetBoom. So bangers on bangers on bangers today. For us, between this upcoming match that we have and between the match after between Talon and Aurora, is there any particular team that you're excited to see today, Adam?
I'm looking at this Aurora Talon, and I just can't register that it's not a SCA matchup,
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's a bit jarring.
Okay,
I think what I'm most surprised by is the fact that Aurora, even though, they swapped over to this Eastern European team full of superstars, they haven't really been doing too well.
Yeah, I expected more out of them. BetBoom as well. I think these are the 2 teams that I had like a bit higher expectations for, I want to say. But let's focus on this series, Mike. Wildcard and Boom. Boom looked pretty good on day 1. Yesterday, they kind of got a little spanking by Paravision. We saw the mid-Beastmaster, the post-4 Ember, There's some unorthodox things coming up. But Wildcard, though, I think watching them play yesterday, they looked so much better than they did on day 1.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And you got to sort of consider the teams that they played against as well, right? Because Wildcard, they were facing up against Liquid, Talon, and One Move. And just based off the way the scores have shaken up, it feels like it's descending order of strength, right? Liquid, obviously, the strongest of all those opponents. And One Move, eliminated. So, yeah, they're going to have to sort of work back up that trajectory facing up against Boom. While if you look at Boom's results, they managed to 2-0 BetBoom, which is the other team you said you weren't sort of super convinced by. But they were up against Spirit and Paravision. Those are very, very strong teams. Spirit already qualified. So just by matter of who they faced up against, I'm inclined to say Boom are perhaps the stronger team coming into it. I know you're going to say Southeast Asia, but
it's descending, it's descending. So Boom has to be the worst, right? According to this format right now.
Okay. Sure. We'll see. There has to be a sort of upward swing back at some point in Wildcard's trajectory, I'm sure that Boom are not going to be any easy opponents. I did watch some of their games and it does feel like there's some moments where it feels like they're still finding their form with this new addition of Armel and Jabs, and then there are some moments where it's like, oh, Armel and Jabs are just owning. Like these guys are just fitting in so nicely.
Yeah, I mean, probably have not found their footing yet. I would say the two changes are, it's a big change, right? Going from Abang Fibrozi, the very usual playstyle Jips coming in. I think probably taking over a slight captain role as well. Like you said, there have been games where Amel just looks like a monster, and there has been games where it looks like this guy should probably retire. But I feel like that's the trajectory, isn't it? It's like, how high his ceiling is, right? Is what I'm trying to say. It's not how low you go, but how high it is, which I want to see what Boom can bring now. Life on the line.
Yeah, same thing for Wildcard though. I don't want to sort of count them out just yet. Yesterday, an amazing performance from Yamson in particular. I thought he played a very stable carry. He didn't rush things. We saw one of the games where he was playing the Tiny as well. He understood. I think sometimes when there's so much chaos happening on the map, you feel like, oh, my team's losing some of these skirmishes. I need to come out. I need to help. I need to make sure things are happening and working in our favor. But he knew, and you said it too, Adam. You said, okay, with this Tiny pick that they managed to get themselves at 24, last pick of the draft, by the way. All you need to do is farm, hit that critical mass, come out, womp, everyone dies. And that's exactly what happened. Hopefully Wildcard at that same level of precision moving into this series. Now, we will be getting into the draft and figuring out who won the coin toss very shortly. But expectations-wise, do you agree with what I'm saying? Do you think that Boom is probably sort of the favorite coming into this matchup?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think Wildcard is just an underdog, right? True and true. No one, in any matchup, they are probably the less favorite team in this tournament. But I think the wildcard of yesterday and the wildcard of today, the wildcard of day one, it's been kind of different, Like I see the improvement, and I like to believe in teams that progress as they move on in tournaments. So I'm a big fan of this. I hope we get a good showing here from them against Boom.
Yeah, absolutely. I think both teams also have that same feeling of, okay, we're coming from a bit of an underrepresented region. We want to do our best. We want to show the world why Dota in Southeast Asia, Dota in NA still has a bit of a kick to it, right? I do want to ask you though, coming into this matchup, are there any player matchups in particular that you're looking at? Any one-to-one role versus role? Before you answer that question, do want to highlight that Wildcard won the coin toss and they go for first pick, Boom Esports Radiant. Same thing as what we've come to expect from most of these teams.
It has to be RCY against Armel, right? The foreign Filipino versus the local.
Come on. Yeah,
extremely high skilled players. Armel obviously with a big ton of experience under his belt versus the young blood in RCY who has shown his C-ness, his SEA-ness, You've seen the moves, you know what I'm talking about. You've all seen it. Yeah. It's a little arrogance or confidence, we like to call it.
Yeah. I mean, when you have a mid laner, you always want them to be playing to the absolute max of what they can bring out, right? So I don't necessarily blame RCY. For those of you who didn't watch the games yesterday, what Adam is referring to is we saw some moments where RCY on the Storm Spirit, Storm Spirit players, mid players, they love to min-max, right? So sometimes you're swapping in a bottle, you're saving an illusion rune, you're saving a BKB here and there, just trying to play to your limits. It did bite him in the butt a little bit, but not enough for Wildcard to be knocked out just yet. That might change, of course. We're into the picks and bans. Boom Esports choose to take out the Veno. That's a very smart choice and kind of a given. But on the side of Wildcard, they are looking mostly at, I would assume, off-lane bans. Take out the AA, go for the Tinker. So eliminate that anti-heal that you've been talking about, Adam, as such a strong factor against many of the meta heroes and equip themselves with perhaps one of the strongest position 5s that are available right now.
I wonder why Boom let this through. I guess you want the Tiny trade, but the thing about Wildcard is that RCY plays a pretty insane Tinker too. So I think this is I don't want to say draft disadvantage. Maybe Boom has a plan for this. Curious to see what they pick here. I feel like in this situation, it's usually insta-pick right already, and there's the Tiny.
Yeah. I mean, they're just trying to make the full use out of their time available, right? You got 30 seconds to lock in a pick, just a bit more time to discuss. I'm sure, speaking of Boom Esports and the new additions, I think for the longest time, if we're talking about Jabs, right, he has always been in this partnership in terms of being a captain with Sunbeam, right? This coaching captain duo that we've seen for such a long time. Now switching over to Mushi, I know you know those two very well. what kind of do you think is the dynamic change? Because I'm sure that if you're stepping into the captain role, you need to work with a new coach, especially a coach who's as domineering as Bushi. There's got to be a little bit of a switch up in your own expectations about how much of control you have, I guess.
I feel like Boom's a team of, like, they're probably the most veteran stack we have right in SCA, and I feel like that gives you an advantage working with Mushi, especially. It's like just really professional. You're able to look at Dota from a very objective point of view. Obviously, there will be some disagreements here and there, and I think, playing in a Mushi team, if he's like that, I have not worked with him obviously in a very long time. If he's still like, this is the way we want to play, then I think you respect the team culture, I think it's good to add ideas. I think any ideas are great if they add value to the team. If you're like changing and you're always debating between go left or go right, instead of like, hey, let's all go right together faster, I feel like there is a way that they both just kind of enable each other.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, in my mind, I've never been part of that environment before, but I always think, okay, players who have played for such a long time, they probably have a very clear idea about the type of Dota that they want to play, and they might be a bit hard-headed about it, but that's good to hear. I mean, you know me, rooting for my boy Jab, so I got boys on both sides. Total ban, Jakiro ban, TA ban, I guess that's just the respect of the matchup, and they get the silencer for themselves. So we've seen this kind of duck out in most of the phase 2 of the bans, especially with Tinker, Dazzle, some of these other heroes coming in. Just such a solid pickup, denying the Tinker of any defensive utility.
Yeah, the bans are pretty interesting to me. I was going to talk about the silencer being in the pool against Tinker. I think every time we've seen Tinker picked up, it's like A ban and then second phase silencer. But Wildcard choose to remove the Coddle and the Jakiro, who usually makes it through. I feel like the silencer ban, in my head, it makes more sense. Like, Jakiro wants to fight in an area, but Tinker is just, I would say, stronger. Maybe just worried that Zhao is much more comfortable on this hero in particular. But I wonder if this is gonna make Wildcard just put his Tinker as a +5.
Yeah, it's a bit odd because I think... So you were talking about how, at least on Wildcard, this Tinker first pick is a bit of a double whammy, right? Because they got RCY who can play it, they also have the position 5 speed who can play it. I kind of feel like this Kotal ban might be a bit of a double whammy for Boom Esports, because we know that it has been played in position 4 quite a lot, namely by Tofu, paired up with the Ember. We saw one move bring it out as well. Or was it one move for Night Pulse? I don't quite remember. Maybe both teams. But this is a big RML hero, right? And when you play Tiny, like you said, you want to farm for 20 minutes, hit that timing, that Coddle can really help you get through the early game and carry you through that length. So immediately we see the response there. Parablade and Tusk. Okay.
Well, I'm not sure about the Tuskar. I guess it's good in lane against Silencer. You kind of have reach, you have physical damage. You also have a BKB cancel right now, which is kind of nice. I think this hero has... In the games we've seen, at least, like, even the games we strong play, it looked really good, right? Like, it's just a high impact hero with a lot of kill power, especially against these force fights that kind of feed into you.
Yeah.
I think the Coral and Jakiro ban make a bit more sense now with the Terrorblade coming out. Maybe they wanted the TB against the Tiny matchup all along, and I think Coral and Jakiro have more interaction than Silencer with the Terrorblade, right? TB actually enjoys playing into Silencer to a certain extent. You're able to push out waves, you're able to just dodge global when you want to, and Silencer doesn't deal with illusions.
The thing I'm curious about, Adam, is the fact that Nature's Prophet, that hero that has been so fiercely contested by many of these other teams, completely glossed over. We did talk about this yesterday. There's a bit of a rock, paper, scissors going on, right? When you have the Nature's Prophet, it's a bit awkward to pick it into the Tiny because it feels like the Tiny just bests you at every stage of the game. Is that not something that Boom Esports could look into exploring themselves, or is it just kind of bad into what Wildcard have on the table?
I'm not too sure. I know Tim's is a good Tiny player, but every time I think of Tim's, I think of him as this like ranged spellcaster kind of guy. I feel like that's what he excels at. I want to talk about this Beast a little because we have seen the Beast go mid. I think there's been like 2 games where we see this mid Beast Masters of one kind of owned on it yesterday too. I think there's a certain meta developing. So it's a really nice Beast game. You have, once you roar, there's this global science that comes out, so you have really easy initiation. I think you have a lot of heroes to go in for you, and it's really nice against the Terrorblade, just the eggs, the illusion clear. You have super fast pace right now coming from Boom.
Yeah, I love this Beast, especially when you have other calls that can initiate as well, right? Tiny doesn't... He buys the blink as +1 a little bit later down the line, but he wants to go in just along with you. I think the most tough thing when playing a Beastmaster is when you're the only one with a blink stun. You blink in raw, and if they have any semblance of save, that's the end of the fight, right? A glimmer, a 4-star, you're like, okay, well, guess we're not doing anything. In fact, I think we cast a couple of games that felt like that, where the Beastmaster started from behind. Dragon Knight, another solid pickup, good armor, early pressure. You talked about the pace of Boom Esports. They are picking things up quick.
Okay, I think this DK pick is a big tell that they want to flex this Tiny. I think there's not really a huge reason to pick DK here, especially into the Terrorblade. It's not a great matchup for sure. Wildcard, they go for a Tide, so a hero that's, I'd say, decent against Tiny. You don't really get pressure in lane. Obviously, you reduce a lot of his damage. I don't know if it's enough. It's also nice against these heroes that don't want to buy BKB, right? Beastmaster, Tiny, they are heroes that they want to drag out their BKB later on. And this Tusk Tide is it's quite an old school lane, right? You have Gush with the minus armor from Tag Team. You have nice Roche on Wildcard, and even more AoE protection.
Yeah. I did want to ask you a question because this is something that I personally am not too sure about, okay? For the longest time, whenever I play Silencer, I'm a big Silencer player, I see Tidehunter, I laugh, I point at him, I say, haha, you're never going to be able to cast Ravage. Because even if you build Greaves or even if you build the Dispel, it's going to be so awkward for you to get the Ravage out in a timely manner. But everything else, like I look at stats online, people are always picking Tidehunter into Silencer. Wildcard just did it. What is the rationale behind that? Because I understand you can shrug off the Silencers with your blubber, you're not so scared about his pressure in lane. But doesn't he remove that surprise factor of the Blink Ravage? We might have lost Adam a little bit here. Hopefully he returns to us. Maybe Silencer got him. Are you back? Okay, Silencer got you with the global silence a little bit. It's unfortunate. Still global silence, unfortunately. Just like a Tidehunter in my games if I pick Silencer. We can give Adam some time to sort of figure that out, but maybe buy a Dispel for himself. But yeah, the Tidehunter is going to be an excellent pick regardless. Just let's put the Silencer aside for a little bit, right? You have a lot of physical damage. Is he back? Is he out from global silence? You dispelled yourself yet?
Can you hear me?
Are you good? Yeah, I can hear you. I've been hearing you. I think we're good.
Alright.
I think
the reason Tide is good against Silencer is because, well, one, he doesn't die in global, right? Like, you get to pop Cricket Shell, it's just a free dispel, they can't burst during global. Two is you're super tanky, you can kind of frontline. I think it's also the concept of the hero in general. Even in lane, you get to dispel the Arcane Curse on top of you last word. It's not something you care about too much. Number three, teamfight wise, if you are starting with Blink Ravage, the Silencer's not always gonna get global off. And you look at your heroes, TB just has to press meta, right? The rest of the follow-up doesn't really matter. Can you really not press meta and tag team when you press Ravage? I'm sure you can before global comes out. So it's fast, right? It's fast.
Right. I guess it's just about how Wildcard are approaching the fights, right? Because if they are out in the open, they're slowly setting up, then it's Boom Esports with the priority. Would you then say that this game comes down a lot to who's going to get the upper hand in terms of initiation?
Yeah, I think so. But if you look at Wildcard's heroes, they go for a Pango here. For Boom, I guess it's pretty much a DK mid, right? With the bans coming out, Necrophos and Slaughter. Just kind of protecting this percentage damage, good against Tiny and DK. I like the bans. I think it's pretty niche as well. Wildcard, go for a bit more minus armor, a bit more team fight. I think it's a nice pick too. But Boom, this is where they decide if the Tinys carry or not.
I'm going to level with you here. I think DK has shown himself to be a pretty strong hero in this tournament so far. I don't know whether I like the pick. I feel like Boom Esports draft is a little bit awkward now. They will now flex the Tiny. So it is what you said. It's going to be Tims on this Tiny, Amel on the Leshrac mid to try and dumpster this Pango, and Jackie playing that position 1 DK. I always kind of scratch my head a little bit when people pick the DK into the Terrorblade, because I get that DK has naturally high armor, but you're such an easy Sunder target for the Terrorblade, no?
I feel the same, but I think the logic of this DK is like the pace, right? And also with this Fire Dragon, I know TB is one of the better matchups, but as DK, you can kind of just cleave through all these illusions, right? Like, Cleave has always been the quote-unquote illusion solution. Then,
yeah, I guess so.
Well, look at me go.
We'll see the drafts locked in here as the dust settles. Adam, any side that you're preferring? Because with that Pango last pick, Wildcard are looking pretty solid, but the Lesh overall, I think that might skew things a little bit in Boom Esports' favor for me.
I'm not a huge fan of this tiny post 4, but I think the Lash kind of enables it. Now he has a lane to play towards. So Jabs is going to be by himself. I think we'll see a lot of pressure and plays around Armel. I think this Lash also gives them a way to shred through this Tidehunter, this Terrorblade in the early game. And with this DK Lash course, there's a lot of pace coming out. Beast as well on top of that. I expect Boom to try to play super fast. Every global, we're probably going to see a team fight. That being said, I do think that Wildcard have the tools to kind of drag out the game. And mid 20, you know, when all the damage starts to run out, Blink Ravage with this tag team, they have Roche potential, they have huge physical damage, and there's no saves on Boom.
Yeah, that could be a bit of a concern. We'll see just how much they can get done on Boom in terms of the pace. Boom versus Wildcard. Again, you're watching FISSURE Universe Episode 4. This is the official stream brought to you by FISSURE Studios. And we'll be getting into game very shortly. Boom Esports versus Wildcard. This is an elimination series, folks. Both teams, so far, their score in this group stage is 1-2. You can make the argument that Boom Esports had to face off against tougher opponents, but Wildcard, they've been the underdogs this whole time. So it's no difference to them. They're trying to climb back up. They're trying to make that sort of reverse ending happen for themselves. Up to 3-2, that's how you get to the playoffs. It's going to be a bit of a long slog, but hopefully they've got that in them. I feel a bit of Southeast Asian pride at the moment, I can't lie, but at the same time, you know, Wildcard, is it fair to say that if they manage to tie through the early pressure, they are at that advantage at the end of the game?
I don't know how advantageous it is. I think it depends how you get there as well. But I think they definitely have the right hero that want to play this like 25-30 minutes, right? I think in a game where it reaches the point that one Ravage equals one kill, or you roll in front of whoever's in front of TB, whereas the DK, the Lash, the Beast, and they just die, I feel like that's the timing that Wildcard's draft is looking at right now.
Sure. See the Lash going for Misanthropy, which basically makes your Diabolic Edict a minefield. So much bloody damage. Beast mode also picked up by the Beastmaster, so an implication there that Jabs is going to go for that Aghanims build, try and scale up to be a core for himself. Might see a little bit of a tri-core type situation coming out from Boom Esports. I mean, when you got Jabs, I think that's the key difference between Mr. FBZ and Jabs, right? I feel like Jabs always tries to scale up to become a core by himself.
Yeah, that's true. I talked about this cleave against the Terrorblade earlier, but Jackie goes for Frost Dragon. So I guess this is in their own way, the way they want to deal with the March, the anti-heal. It's also nice slow, I guess. I think that my problem will be the reflection, but there's no dispel for Mjolnir, and Mjolnir is pretty nice on their heroes. Like if you look at Boom's timing together, they're gonna have this Mjolnir, probably Aegis at some point too, with the Beast in front, and I think they can play really fast potentially.
3-for-1 rune trade.
Goodbye, Fade.
Advantages to the side of Boom, but Fade is in a spot between a rock and a hard place. Right next to the Roche pit. He's going to get one little anchor smash. If he can get the deny, that'll be huge. Oh my goodness, it looked like Roche was trampling him a little bit. Tims is taking quite a bit of damage. Roche is absolutely mogging him right now. But yeah, that will be the end of that, my goodness. A little bit of panic probably from the Tiny, but he manages to get away scot-free. First blood drawn on the side of Boom Esports. Tims getting that is highly impactful because he'll be able to ferry himself for boots in no time.
I think that was a super cool play though, right? He tried to Ice Shard block while he tried to go into the Roche to the side, but Tims just slides his way in thanks to the wind lace.
Yeah, bit ahead of him on that one. Move speed advantage. Very important for the Tiny early on. Pre-blink to try and get the kills and try and get the toss backs. Speed doing a pretty good job messing with these creep pulling shenanigans. In fact, I really love this ward coming out from Speed right at the entrance of the triangle because it's going to scout out whether a boss coming back here to, you know, perhaps stack some Ancients, stack some triangle camps, even if the Tiny's going for some sort of a rotation.
Yeah, it's just B slash, right? If anything, you want to keep an eye on this triangle. Keep tabs on the Tiny moving mid. I think that's really important as well. I talked about how Tiny has a lane to play, and it's definitely not top lane, right? It's going to be true middle, true Armel on this slash. Apply as much pressure as you can away from the Beastmaster.
Bignum taking some hits here, but still level 1 on both safe laners of Boom. Just play it chill. Let's talk about this mid lane. You want to talk about the mid lane matchup? The Pango facing up into the Armel last pick Lash. I've got to imagine that that's quite a favorable matchup for that Lash, right?
I think it's pretty even actually, because Pango has shield crash, right? It's quite okay. I don't think it's anything matchup. I think the whole point of this Lash is just a lot of magic damage. Keep in home. Oh my god.
Oh, he gets roasted. That's tough. I thought he had enough juice with the Kraken Shell as well as the stick charges, but unfortunately not, and Big Num was not in position to help him out there.
Yeah, just trying to hold back the wave with his ice shards. Unfortunately, one creep goes out, and plus it's just because of the first blood, right? You have shards level 1, you have your third spell, so they can't really trade with the silencer in any way. Zhao super free to just bully and Jackie as well with the stun and the frost slow.
A bit of a tough lane down here for the Tidehunter. I guess the one upside of the Tidehunter is that you can always hit back and farm stacks to recover a little bit. Tim's trying to leg his way towards that courier. It's a bit too quick for him though. The Rock ain't got the move speed, unfortunately. What are we kind of expecting? I mean, you talk about the mid lane being the important lane to play through. I'm sure, the Tiny, Zhao, they're all going to start collapsing mid near the level 6. They want to start to open up that path for Amel, I'm guessing.
Okay, with the way bot lane is going, they might actually just try to play through Jackie, I think. If this tide is going to be poor, because there's no real way to help him get back into his game, I think. There's obviously true stacks later, but a lot of the tempo is going to come from the Pango with the game, with the way Fate is gaming right now. And Tide's also one of these gaming right now. And Tide's also one of these heroes, like if you slow him down, he can't really come back to lane over and over, you know, even though you want to.
He's still sticking around. 5 CS right now on the board for our sad little Tidehunter boy. Got first blooded. A couple more CS to his name right now, but still not looking too hot. Talked about the mid lane matchup being pretty even. It's RCY winning that out by what seems like a significant margin. 22-17 right now. Pretty solid performance from the Pango so far.
Yeah, it's a pretty free lane. You also get free stick charges, but nothing to really stop Armel from farming. Again, this is not like some super heavy matchup, super heavy Lash-sided matchup. I think it's pretty even.
So why do you think they picked the Lash then, coming into this game? Is it just to sort of pick up the pace? Are they looking to play through him in this early stage? What does it give you that the other mid picks don't?
I think it gives you a lot of magic damage, which is what they kind of lack right on their heroes. I want to say lag, but that's not true. It's a Tide killer, it's a TB killer. I think that's what they want. They want to play it pace. They're like, okay, you have TB Tidehunter. We're not gonna go super late game with you. We have this beast already. We're gonna speed things up. Speaking of speed,
Sure. Yeah. Speed is gonna get sent up to heaven with that move. They did the
Zero damage.
The tower. they literally tickled him a little bit, but he has that only in limited supply. This is how you know a Tidehunter's really struggling, man. He has 2 levels in the Kraken Shell. He is in Pain City.
yeah, I just don't really have an option to go aggressive here because of how the first 2 minutes went. But that being said, RCY is doing well. TB is doing okay up here as well. Same net worth as Jabs. Tim's making a move here. Is spotted by the ops though.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to what we were saying. Wildcard very aware about the priorities that Boom have in place. RCY will be wise to it. I say that. He's still coming down to the low ground, maybe baiting a bit for Big Num on this move. Both supports ahead of the curve here. I thought they'd come a bit closer to the 6 minutes, but everyone just trying to get the jump on each other. Meanwhile, bot lane Fade again. They're doing no damage. They're doing no damage. They'll stun him now. Little bit of a pickle. One more anchor smash to reduce some of the auto attacks coming up from Jack Boys, but he's got a brief fire. Another death on the Tidehunter. He is having an awful start.
Yeah, they need help. They need some help in other lanes. But I think the bright side for them is that with Pango 6, Jack Boys and Zhao probably can't get away with this anymore. Oh, that's a juicy stack.
Big, yummy.
Can he even clear it?
Yeah, I'm sure he can. He's got
Yeah,
mana.
I don't know
He
if
got
he
a shield rune if he needs to.
You know? Your shield to take the stack. I guess he kind of has to, right?
Yeah, why not? What else you popping your shield rune for? Not like you got to try and commit for solo kill onto RCY. He's got the level 6 now.
That's fair. And Armel now will take over net worth lead. Though not the greatest lane. It's mana now. No real moves coming out from either team yet.
Yeah, I guess Wildcard, you did say that their draft is catered more a bit to a later timing, right? As long as nothing's happening in the game, I assume they're pretty happy with it. And probably not very happy about the fact that their Terrorblade just got roared up, tossed up into the sky. Yamsun in big trouble. The March of the Machines and the Defense Matrix will keep him alive by such a narrow margin. Boom missed out on that kill.
Imagine if he died because Speed has a Lotus in his backpack instead of his inventory. That would have been giga sad. Big Nam making a move up here.
Fading out onto Tim's, but might just have to be a trade out. Laser prevents any damage coming out from jabs, and not so much a trade, more like a little bit of a bait. Well played from Speed there. Drawing in the Tiny and getting the kill. Wildcard get themselves on the board.
Yep, Boom with a slight lead so far. Nice rotation from Big Nam just to kind of alleviate the pressure. Yamsun wants to use his first meta, get a kill, and kind of just go to jungle. Has the max conjure image too, so that's probably the game plan. Can't play towards Fade as well. This is recovery mode kind of game.
This is starting to look like one of those games where, as the support, I'm feel for Big Num here. He wants to sort of make things happen. He wants to run around, maybe get some kills, find some setups, but even if you go into the mid lane, RCY has the Orb of Corrosion now. I guess they were looking for the Lash that they thought was going to be farming in this area. Stacks were already cleared out, so I guess in a way good preemptiveness from Boom to expect the move potentially coming and clear those out bright and early.
He's Speed stacking his own jungle too, so I think the game's going pretty okay. It's kind of hard for Big Nam to go anywhere unless Armel wants to touch the tower. I think that's like a big cue for them. But yeah. Boom seemed pretty happy with the laning phase, just trying to extend it out. We see Jabs clearing the stacks on the left. Letting Tims get a little XP up here.
They're looking at Fade again. Up that dragon form. Fade just hit that level 6, but surely, I mean, you don't ravage for this. You just accept your fate and die. Another -1 for Fade. His intelligence dropping rapidly, unfortunately. And now with this dragon form, they can continue the pressure onto this tier 1 in the off lane. That's very, very nice move from Armel.
Mel has a regen. He's gonna steal a little farm in this triangle, and Fade can't really come back to this lane right now.
Yeah. Well, where does he go?
A good question. He needs his team to smoke top or smoke down here, I think.
Yeah, the thing is, Fade is suffering down here, but it doesn't really feel like Wildcard are getting much else done on the map, right? They are, at most, maintaining parity. We can see the camp stacked. Both teams with a heavy priority on that, but so far Boom have been the ones, the upper hand. Some of those stacks that the Tinker lovingly prepared have just been stolen by Armel. Meanwhile, Boom, they were able to farm their triangle with relative safety. I mean, things are going very, very much Boom's way right now.
Yeah, 2K in our fleet where they want to be in their draft for sure. I think we'll see the pace ramp up when Beast and DK are a bit more online. Firstly, I say that draft's very fast, but it's really just catapult timing, some damage to kill heroes. But I think fast phase like 15 to 25 minutes, you know, it's like when they hit their timings together, it's where the game's just gonna go super fast for them.
You probably look for the Mjolnir, maybe the BKB for the Dragon Knight, finish up that Ags on jabs. Looking at the early Kaya from the Lash, I'm not the most familiar with Lash track build-ups. Do you still sort of go that Atos early on? Mid lane? Yeah, I mean, these edicts are just gonna rip Big Nam up. But yeah, I've seen some Lashers go for the Atos to set up their own kills. It doesn't seem like he's building that for now. Fade, the bot lane, defense matrix, saving the situation a bit. Speed a bit late with the laser. I can't help but feel like if he lasered first, might have prevented the Tidehunter from dying. Meanwhile, top lane, they're looking at Yamsun. Raw out, he can't get the Sunder off, man. Just all around the map, wildcard heroes dropping like flies and Aurora all over it.
And not really able to stand in either lane right now. Meanwhile, Amarel's just gonna keep shoving in mid, forcing RCY to kind of just be here. Wait for a Mage Slayer. Wildcard there. Kind of done with dying in silence. They will bring RCY to the top now.
This move feels very, very much needed. It comes a bit late, but if they can connect the kill onto jabs, that'll be at least something for them to look back on. The problem is that Big Nam doesn't even have that level 6. Global Silence to cover the TP out. Heads up play from Jabs. He's out of there. So is Tims. Move goes wrong. Wildcard, they can't find anything up here. They could, I guess, pop the meta and try and pressure the tower now that there are no heroes there. But they're trading out pressure in the mid. They're trading out pressure in the bot lane. It's kind of tough for Wildcard, isn't it?
Yeah, Boom just making the right moves on the map as well. They were scanned out, so I think just very aware of what can and can't Wildcard do. That's the problem with losing early, right? Like, you can't play to this Tidehunter. So the moves are kind of drawn for you. You're either playing around mid or you're playing around this Terrorblade.
Sure. And why can't you play to the Tidehunter? Because he has his level 6, right? Can't he just you know, potentially Ravage and then you run in with a couple of heroes. Does that not work?
He doesn't contribute enough damage, and playing into his Titan lane not only means that you're playing to your weakest hero, it also means you're probably playing into Boom's strongest hero, right? This DK is super high level,
Right.
super tanky. Even though he's owning his lane, he went for like a bit more stat heavy build with the Wraith Band as the stick too. You don't really have damage on your heroes to bring him down fast enough, I think, especially with global, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. It's been a bit of a quiet time for RCY so far, and I can't really blame him. He doesn't really have any lane he wants to rotate to. The RML kill in the mid lane doesn't really seem feasible as well. Big Num's tried a little bit, but finally getting the level 6, the Wallace punch online now.
The Wallace.
Wallace.
Who's Wallace? You know,
you know that movie Wallace and Gromit, like the the man and the dog.
Plus points.
Yeah. Is this how our cast is just gonna go now? Like every single game, you're just gonna quiz me on some unrelated piece of media, and if I know it, I win.
Yes. I have a tracker.
Sure. Okay.
Your score is currently 1-2.
Yeah, you can help me keep score. I win this time round, which is probably unexpected for you, but yeah, thank you.
You know what show speed is from?
Sorry?
You know what show speed is from?
I know Speed, the Twitch streamer.
Alright, I'll give you half a point for that.
Okay, wait, as in, what do you mean? Do you know what show Speed is from?
It's because his Twitch was I show speed.
Is that a reference to something?
No, it's not. It's just a
Okay, no,
joke.
wait. So what show is Speed from?
I don't know. It's from iShow. That's his name, iShow Speed.
Oh my. Okay, all right.
Speaking of iShow,
Yamso's got a show here, and Yamso's gonna die. No longer showing, he dies. He's buried in the ground. Very nice move there from Boom.
Alright, so this tower is gonna give Tim probably enough gold, or maybe 100 gold more to his dagger. Boom is picking up the pace. 14 minutes. Shrine of Wisdom time. Oh, they're backing off. They're respecting the fact that Wildcard is off the map a little here.
Yeah, I mean, they don't see them. The Ravage is still a potential. They haven't seen the Tide in a hot minute. They just don't know the fact that he's been farming very quietly in his little quadrant of the map. I mean, they got Aghanims on the Beastmaster now. Close to 15-minute timing so they can head towards that Tormentor. Maybe this is an opportunity for Wildcard to try and set up some sort of a fight.
I feel like they need to slow down Boom somehow. Like if you look at this game right now, 2 more minutes, Beast is gonna have Blink, DK is gonna have Mjolnir, there's gonna be Bloodstone, Unleash, and Tiny Dagger. And I think that is so scary when it all hits together.
Yeah. It's all coming together for Boom right now, and you know, we were talking about the featured matchup, at least for us, in terms of player versus player. Looks like the local Filipino is beating the foreign Filipino at the moment. Of course, if you are watching the stream, this official stream brought to you by FISSURE Studios, and you don't want to miss a thing about all the beautiful tournaments and things happening brought to you by FISSURE Studios, you want to subscribe, follow, join us on our social media, type !F in chat. Be sure to check out all of the links, find our media. If you're watching on Twitch, you can also scroll down, click the banner below the stream, and that should get you a very easy link to all of FISSURE's social media. You're not going to miss a thing.
Don't be Aerosmith. Okay, anyway. I wonder if Fade should go for offering here. I feel like he kind of needs to buy the Blink.
I get what you're saying. They are trading Roche for Tormentor. That's pretty interesting. I guess the shard value on their supports isn't super crazy, and this is a way bigger objective. But I can't help but feel like Boom could have totally just gotten the Tormentor and then went for the Roche.
Too far. No time.
Okay.
It's also kind of hard to go into Ravage, Roll, and March, right? If you know they're there. Like through the gate, that sounds very scary to me. I think you can definitely look for fights with like Tiny Blink and stuff, but trying to get into that sounds like a way to throw your lead.
Yeah, I was just confused because it seemed like they had the advantage in terms of positioning. At around the 40-minute mark, they were all around that top gate. So I thought they were just going to go through the gate, set up vision, you know, prevent Wildcard from getting any sort of advantage. But at least in the past 3 to 4 minutes, things have slowed down a little bit. It's stayed at a 4k, 5k gold lead. Axe was complete, but sorry, Aegis now for the Beastmaster. Boom, I gotta imagine that they are gonna try and start pressuring out these tier 2 towers.
Yeah, Speed's too scared to kind of deal with this wave too. There's a catapult. Surprised Jabs isn't hitting the tower, but we'll probably see a sweep towards bot side now.
Yeah.
I think this is
Line
kind of
goes
obvious from Boom because no one's showing in the top lane, but Wildcard don't seem to know here. They're gonna show Fade.
Fate shows.
Goodbye, Fade.
They might not be showing much longer. Drugs off the global silence, but another -1. He is not really the sharpest tool in the shed right now.
I'm glad you're on my team, Mike. I appreciate all the references.
Yeah, I'm trying my best. Oh no, man. You know it's a bad game when you see your first Rolling Thunder and it's defensive. He just beeped out of there.
Beep beep. Oh well. I mean, they're not taking fights anytime soon.
Dude,
I mean, Wildcard knows.
no. He doesn't have a role, they know. If they can stick on top of him, RCY is in big trouble. Jackie's coming as well. He got a toss.
Ooh.
Hello? Guys.
I saw that, Jackie. We all saw that, Jackie. Camera's on you.
Yeah. Camera.
What's your reason, Jackie?
Someone go flick him out. Mushi's taking note right now. He's bringing out the whip.
Thank you,
What the
Jackie.
heck? That was a free RCY kill.
Because you quelling bladed the tree.
Yeah, why did he like okay, whatever. I mean, game is still very much in the advantage of Boom. It's been relatively low kill so far. They're looking towards the Terrorblade. Okay, they just jump forward, pull him onto Amel. Sunder's available, but the magic damage and the Bloodstone, the heal is there. Jabs is going to collapse in as well. Gone goes Big Num, and Tinker can't even connect to get them any sort of heal whatsoever. Fate. Oh no, not another -1. Not another -1. Someone get him out of there. Oh, the last little shreds of his brain. And gets stunned. -1. -1. It's tough. Mega kill streak. Speed is going to go down as well. They just hunt down everyone on Wildcard. Only RCY survives.
Dude, that's so sad. The Speed tried... Yeah, I don't know if you caught it at the side of the screen, but Speed tried to TP, and then the Hawk hit him. And then he dropped March and Laser, rearmed. They tried to hit it, TP again, and the Hawk hit him again.
I did not see that. That sounds hilarious. But yeah, that fight just going catastrophically. The high ground toss back. Teams no fear. Big Num. Snowball save. Global comes out a bit late, but not late enough. In comes the Raw on the back line. Jabs has already collapsed upon them. Ravage in, controlling up the Beastmaster. It's Jabs in a little bit of trouble now. He doesn't really have the backup, but he has a second life. So he's not concerned about a thing. You've lost both supports already, and Yamson has to retreat and look for more. Wildcard extract themselves from that hairy situation. But Tim's still hunting. Avalanche off the mark. Still trying to slow up Fate, but case is done. No more additional ways of leapfrogging ahead of each other and getting more catches. We'll just settle for this tier 2 probably. Yes, of course. As a reminder that you're watching the official FISSURE Universe Episode 4 stream brought to you by FISSURE Studios. I'll stay right here. This is where all the action's gonna happen. Nice little blink from RCY. He's being hunted down though. Doesn't have a Rolling Thunder. He will TP out now. Good recognition.
He just angrily throws a tree. It's like, take this with you, RCY.
Oh, I thought they were going to contest for the Shrine of Wisdom. They don't feel confident to run up into it.
I mean, they have no Aegis on Beast now, and I don't think there's a reason to, right? Like, this Shrine's not game-changing for them, but losing 1 or 2 heroes is a significant loss when you're this far ahead, especially your cores.
Yeah, that's fair.
Wildcard still... I would say they have damage. If they can get a jump without global, once Fate gets this dagger, they definitely can... Never mind, go back top.
They've mapped out this poor Terrorblade. Raw, Axis, Jabs is unstoppable. Top of the net worth. He is more than scaled up into a core by himself. He got BKB, he got Blink, he got everything. He's looking good.
I feel like every game we watch, every time a carry dies, it's just there. It's either this spot, right? It's either bot